very much for joining us for this pre-match press conference for the ICC T20 World Cup final with Pakistan captain Babar Azam.
The crowd support in Australia has been quite colourful and quite energetic. How much energy have you guys taken from the support you've received everywhere, and how much do you think it's going to make impact tomorrow night when you got a big crowd again?
Of course, fans, when we come in the ground and support your team, so they give us confidence, and good to see him to when we going anywhere, any stadium, so everyone come over there and support our Pakistan team. So we are try to give our 100% to give us smile to win the matches, and we are looking forward to the tomorrow matches.
Mel?
Thanks. Babar, there has been a lot of comparisons to 1992 and the World Cup final. Just wondering if you and the team have spoken about that and what that victory back then, does that mean anything to you?
Of course, the similarity are same, but we will try to win the trophy, as it is honor for me to lead this team, and especially in this big ground, and we will try to give our 100% tomorrow match, and let's see.
Yeah.
Right. At one stage during the Super 12s, it looked almost impossible for you to qualify. Did that free you up as a team and as a captain, or did you have a conversation and had you almost given up hope at that stage?
Of course, we have our first two matches lost, they cost us, but the way team come back last four matches and they perform very well, and we are playing our good cricket in last four match, and yes, we will try to continue that momentum in the final.
A lot of other teams talk about the benefits of playing in the IPL. Is that something that you think would help you and your team, and is that something you have any hope for in the future?
No, I think we are taking question on the World Cup final at the moment. We're not commenting on IPL. Yeah, Daniel and then Rashish.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम बाबर।
वालेकुम अस्सलाम।
बाबर, 3 दिन हो गए हैं वो सेमीफाइनल परफॉर्मेंस को, जो कि काफी शायद पाकिस्तान की सबसे क्लिनिकल परफॉर्मेंस थी। उसके बाद से आपने दूसरा सेमीफाइनल भी गुजरा है। इन 3 दिन में आपको क्या लगता है कि आपकी अब किस हद तक एक्साइटमेंट है, किस हद तक नर्वसनेस है, तैयारी किस किस्म की आपको महसूस हो रही है?
एक्साइटमेंट है, काफी नर्वस नहीं है। जिस तरह हमने मैचेस खेले हैं और एज अ टीम हमने काफी अच्छी परफॉर्मेंसेस दी हैं लास्ट 3 मैचेस में, 4 मैचेस में। कॉन्फिडेंट है और बिलीव है कि हम कर सकते हैं, और इसी चीज़ को हम कंटिन्यू करेंगे फाइनल में। और देखें, बिल्कुल प्रेशर होता है, लेकिन जितना प्रेशर को ओवरकम करेंगे उतना अच्छा आप परफॉर्म करेंगे। और एज अ टीम और एज अ कप्तान यही है कि अपने आप को जितना काम और अपने पे बिलीव और टीम पे बिलीव रखेंगे, इंशाल्लाह रिजल्ट अच्छे होंगे।
रशीद भाई।
बाबर, जिस तरह हिल्स ने और बटलर ने इंडियन बॉलिंग के सामने बैटिंग जिस तरह की है, अटैकिंग बैट, आप समझते हैं कि बिल्कुल डिफरेंट चीज हो सकती है? क्योंकि पाकिस्तान का जो पेस अटैक है वो उसके बारे में सबको पता है कि दुनिया का बेस्ट वो है, तो इतना आसान नहीं होगा इंग्लैंड की बैटिंग के लिए पाकिस्तान की बॉलिंग को मतलब खेलना। क्या कहेंगे इस पे?
मेरे ख्याल से इंग्लैंड की टीम भी वन ऑफ द बेस्ट टीम है, और उनके साथ हमारी सीरीज भी हुई थी और काफी कॉम्पिटिटिव क्रिकेट हुई थी। बिल्कुल जोश और एलेक्स हेल जो उन्होंने सेमीफाइनल खेला वो आउटस्टैंडिंग खेला, लेकिन कोशिश करेंगे कि अपना बेस्ट दें कल के मैच में। और जिस तरह हमारा वन ऑफ द बेस्ट पेस अटैक है, कोशिश करेंगे कि जो हमारी स्ट्रेंथ है उसी करें, और जो हमारी प्लानिंग है उसको एग्जीक्यूट करें।
अकील।
बाबर आजम से फातिह आजम बनने में 1 दिन रह गया बाकी, तो क्या आप समझते हैं कि 92 वाला जो सीन है वो दोबारा भी रिपीट हो रहा है? क्वेश्चन तो हुआ है पहले भी, लेकिन उर्दू में भी चाहिए। तो तैयार हैं और पूरे इत्मीनान है, ये मोमेंटम जो है इंग्लैंड के खिलाफ कामयाबी की सूरत में निकलेगा?
हाँ बिल्कुल, इंशाल्लाह। जिस तरह मैंने पहले भी बोला था कि स्टार्ट अच्छा नहीं हुआ, लेकिन उसके बाद जिस तरह टीम ने कमबैक किया, और मेरे ख्याल से शेरों की तरह खेले हैं वो, और इंशाल्लाह इसी को हम कंटिन्यू करेंगे, और मोमेंटम जो हमारे हाथ में उसको कल के मैच में एग्जीक्यूट करेंगे। इन 4-5 मैचों में एज अ टीम और इंडिविजुअली काफ़ी अच्छी परफॉर्मेंसेज हुई हैं, और जर्नी हमारी ये इस 1 हफ्ते या 1 महीने से, ये जर्नी हमारी 1 साल से चल रही है कि हमने कुछ डिफरेंट करना। और पहले भी हम सेमीफाइनल में आए, फिर एशिया कप के फाइनल में आए, और अब हम फाइनल में आए। तो ये जर्नी काफ़ी देर से चल रही है, और ये सब प्लेयरों का एक ड्रीम था कि हमने करना है, और उसमें आप एक दूसरे पे बिलीव रखते हैं, इंडिविजुअल बिलीव रखते हैं कि हम कर सकते हैं। तो अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह हम फाइनल पहुंचे हैं और कोशिश करेंगे कि अच्छी क्रिकेट खेलें।
बाबर इधर
जी
बाबर, मैच तो 20-20 ओवर का है, लेकिन क्या पहले 6 ओवर का खेल बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रहा है? क्योंकि चाहे शाहीन की बॉलिंग हो या बटलर और एलेक्स की बैटिंग हो, तो पहले 6 ओवर बहुत अहम रहेंगे।
ऑफ कोर्स पावर प्ले आपको यूटिलाइज करना पड़ेगा, आई मीन बॉलिंग में और यहाँ बैटिंग में। आप कोशिश करते हैं कि उसको अच्छे तरीके से बॉलिंग में आप अपने प्लान्स को एग्जीक्यूट करें और अर्ली ऑन विकेटें लें और प्रेशर डालें दूसरी टीम में। और जब आप बैटिंग करते हैं तो आप कोशिश करते हैं कि ऐसा टून सेट करें जो आने वाले बैट्समैनों के लिए ईजी हो। और ऑफ कोर्स यहाँ पे पावर प्ले काफ़ी मैटर करता है और कोशिश करेंगे कि जो मोमेंटम चल रहा है उसी को कंटिन्यू करें और कोशिश है कि जो चीज़ें हाथ में उसी को हम कंटिन्यू करें और बेस्ट क्रिकेट खेलें और इंशाल्लाह बेहतर होगा।
बाबर, आपने, अब मेरे को पता है आपने सुना होगा, सब जगह पे बातें हो रही हैं कि ये तो भाई कुदरत का निजाम है कि इस बार तो पाकिस्तान को जीतना है। जैसे हॉलैंड ने जनूबी अफ्रीका को हरा दिया, वो वाला रिजल्ट के बाद तो और भी मोमेंटम बन गया कि भाई ये तो पक्का पाकिस्तान का है। तो टीम में आप इस तरह की चर्चा करते हैं कि इस बार हमारे साथ है कुछ क्रिकेट तो है, कुछ उसके अलावा भी हमारे साथ कुछ है जो हमें लेके जा रहा है, और कितना उसके बारे में बात होती है और कितना उसका रिस्क होता है कि क्रिकेट के बारे में बात करना कम हो जाएगा?
सर हमारा बिलीव ही यही है कि हम अल्लाह पे बिलीव करते हैं और जो कुछ होता है अल्लाह के तरफ से होता है और अल्लाह हमें अपॉर्चुनिटी देता है। लेकिन हमारे हाथ में एफर्ट है, एफर्ट हम करते हैं और कोशिश करते हैं कि अपना बेस्ट दें। रिजल्ट अल्लाह के हाथ में और बिल्कुल जिस तरह अल्लाह ने हमें अपॉर्चुनिटी दी है, अल्लाह ने दी है, लेकिन हमने ग्रैब की है और हमने जो उसके बाद क्रिकेट खेली है, जो हमें एक मौका मिला, हमने उसको ग्रैब किया और उसको हमने अच्छे तरीके से चीज़ों को यूटिलाइज किया और मैचेस खेले। बिल्कुल इसमें अल्लाह का शुक्र अदा करेंगे कि अल्लाह ने हमें फाइनल में पहुंचाया और इंशाल्लाह फाइनल भी अल्लाह ही जिताएगा।
अतीक।
यकीन तो हमारा सर हर बारी होता है, ज्यादा ही होता है हर बारी।
अतीक।
बाबर
जी
इधर, कल रमीज राजा से मुलाकात हुई, खिलाड़ियों ने मुलाकात की, एक चेयरमैन की मुलाकात, तो क्या उन्होंने मैसेज आपको पास किया पूरी टीम को और कितना मोरल अप हुआ चेयरमैन पीसीबी का फाइनल से एक दिन पहले मिलने से?
ऑफ कोर्स जब आपके चेयरमैन आते हैं और आपको कॉन्फिडेंस देते हैं तो उससे आपका कॉन्फिडेंस एज अ टीम काफ़ी बढ़ता है। और जिस तरह चेयरमैन आए थे उन्होंने हमें अपना एक्सपीरियंस शेयर किया जो 92 वर्ल्ड कप में था और उन्होंने कॉन्फिडेंस दिया और उन्होंने सिर्फ ये कहा था कि सिर्फ बिलीव रखो और रिलैक्स होकर अपनी क्रिकेट खेलो और उससे हमें काफ़ी कॉन्फिडेंस मिला और इंशाल्लाह कोशिश करेंगे कि अपना बेस्ट दें।
दानियल।
बाबर, टीम की फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी पे थोड़ी सी इस पे डिस्कशन है कि अगले 2 दिन काफी बारिश भी फोरकास्ट है, तो हो सकता है मैच थोड़ा कर्टेल्ड हो, थोड़ा छोटा हो, तो उस चीज पे कोई बात हुई है कि ऑर्डर को किस तरह बदला जाए या बॉलिंग में अगर आपने कभी शायद जल्दी स्पिन इंट्रोड्यूस करनी हो क्योंकि काफी सिचुएशन जल्दी बदल सकती है, इस पे डिस्कशन होती है?
बिल्कुल होती है, लेकिन अभी मेरे ख्याल से इस चीज़ पे हम फोकस नहीं करें। हमको फोकस ये करें कि पूरा मैच हो क्योंकि वर्ल्ड कप का फाइनल है और मेरे ख्याल से हाफ मैच हो या बारिश की वजह से ना हो तो वो डिसअपॉइंटिंग होगा। लेकिन हमारा बिलीव ये है कि जितना मैच हो उसमें हम जो भी हमारी स्ट्रेंथ है, जो भी हमारे प्लान्स है उसको एग्जीक्यूट करें। लेकिन एज ए कप्तान मैं ये चाहूंगा कि पूरा मैच हो।
कादिर।
बाबर, आपके चेहरे से अभी बड़ा रिलैक्स फील हो रहा है और 5 जो ग्रुप स्टेज के मैच थे उसमें रन्स नहीं हो रहे थे, बड़े मैच में स्कोर हुआ, कितने रिलैक्स हुए हैं मेंटली तौर पर इस हवाले से? और दूसरा, हारिस जो है वो कितना कारगर साबित हुआ है पाकिस्तान टीम के लिए नीचे से, उससे कितना हौसला मिला है कि फकर इंजरी का शिकार हुआ और हारिस आया उसने परफॉर्मेंस दी?
ऑफ कोर्स एज अ कप्तान आप जब परफॉर्म नहीं होता तो टीम आप पे रिलाई करती है तो वो थोड़ा सा आप पे प्रेशर आता है। लेकिन मेरे ख्याल से जिस तरह यहाँ पे मैं क्रेडिट दे सकता हूँ कि जिस तरह मिडिल ऑर्डर ने स्टेप अप किया, क्योंकि पहले ये बात हो रही थी कि हमारा मिडिल ऑर्डर, लेकिन मुझे एक बात की खुशी भी थी कि इस वर्ल्ड कप में पूरा मिडिल ऑर्डर ने रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ली। अनफॉर्चुनेटली हमारे मेसी और रिजवान से नहीं हुआ, लेकिन जिस तरह इफ्तिखार खेला, शदाब खेला और उसके बाद आपने हारिस की बात की, बिल्कुल जिस तरह वो यंगस्टर जैसे लग नहीं रहा कि वो पहला टूर्नामेंट खेल रहा है, इतना बड़ा इवेंट खेल रहा है आईसीसी का T20, तो एक गुड साइन हमारे लिए एज अ टीम। और बिलीव होता है कि जब जिस टीम को आप बैक कर रहे हैं वो आपको रिस्पॉन्स कर रही है तो इससे एज अ कप्तान मुझे काफ़ी कॉन्फिडेंस मिलता है। और बिल्कुल जब आप इंडिविजुअल परफॉर्म करते हैं तो आपको कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल भी बढ़ता है। तो ये अप एंड डाउन चलते हैं क्रिकेट में, लेकिन बिलीव मेरा वहीं पे था और मेरे ख्याल से जिस तरह टीम ने रिस्पॉन्स किया और बैक किया थ्रू आउट टूर्नामेंट में और स्टेप अप किया, तो ये एक अच्छी टीम की निशानी है।
Last two, as England is here, Choli Ashraf and then at the back. Yeah.
बाबर, मेलबर्न का जिस तरह का मौसम है, यहाँ पे टॉस की कितनी अहमियत होगी और कौम से क्या अपील करेंगे कि अब तो आखिरी एक कदम की दूरी पर टाइटल है?
सर टॉस इतना मैटर नहीं करेगा क्योंकि कंडीशंस और जो है वो सेम होती हैं, लेकिन ये है कि ऑन द डे क्या कंडीशंस होंगी, क्या वेदर होगा, उस पे फिर उसका देख के फिर हम डिसाइड करेंगे कि क्या करना है, टॉस वाइटल होगा कि नहीं होगा। मेरे ख्याल से बिल्कुल कॉम से और फैन से बिल्कुल यही है कि सपोर्ट करें, और जिस तरह थ्रू आउट उन्होंने सपोर्ट किया, बुरे टाइम में भी सपोर्ट किया, अच्छे टाइम में भी सपोर्ट किया। अच्छे फैंस और जो क्रिकेट को फॉलो करते हैं उनका यही पता लगता है कि वो किस टाइम पे आपको सपोर्ट करते हैं। तो मेरा उन सबसे यही रिक्वेस्ट है कि सपोर्ट करें और दुआ करें पाकिस्तान टीम के लिए कि वो फाइनल अच्छा खेले और फाइनल जीते।
हाय बाबर, मैं कपिल वशिष्ठ, जी न्यूज इंडिया से हूँ। जिस तरह से हिंदुस्तान के सेमीफाइनल में हारने के बाद आपके वजीर आजम ने एक ट्वीट किया 152 विदाउट लॉस और वर्सेस 170 विदाउट लॉस इस रविवार को, तो मैं पूछना ये है कि जब आपके देश का जो करोड़ों का नुमाइंदा है वो इस तरह से ट्वीट करता है तो थोड़ा सा दबाव ज्यादा बढ़ जाता है क्या, कि सब लोग देख रहे हैं?
नहीं, दबाव तो ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। बेसिकली सॉरी टू से मैंने देखा नहीं है इस ट्वीट को, और मुझे इस चीज़ का भी नॉलेज नहीं है। लेकिन ये नहीं है कि प्रेशर बढ़ता है। हम कोशिश करते हैं कि जो भी ओपोनेंट हो उसके लिए उनके अगेंस्ट अपना बेस्ट दें और बेस्ट क्रिकेट खेलें।
Thank you. Last question in English.
Hi, Babar. You've played England a lot recently. What impact do you think that series win they had in Pakistan will have on this game? And what areas do you think that you might have an advantage having seen so much of them?
So we have a player. England is good team. They have a good bunch of players, and they have a quality fast bowlers and batsmen. So we have a try to our best to execute our plans, and looking forward to the match.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you.
How are you? Go ahead.
Hi, Josh. Can I just start by asking how Dawood and Mark are either likely to play tomorrow and who's likelier of the two?
Yeah, they're both improving. Of course, there's not too many days since not being fit enough for the semi-final, but again, we'll give them every chance possible.
And you're just one game away from being ODI and T20 world champions. There must be a heck of a lot of excitement in the dressing room.
Yeah, naturally, there's huge excitement for the match. Anytime you get a chance to play in a World Cup final is a huge honour. We're really excited as a group. There seems a nice feel around the team. Naturally, the previous performance gives us lots of confidence, but doesn't count for anything tomorrow. We start a fresh game against a really tough opposition, and anytime you're fighting for a trophy, you know that it's not going to come easy.
You guys have played against each other quite a lot in the last couple of months. Are there any secrets between you two? And could one edge be the fact that you guys have played a few World Cup finals, whereas most of the Pakistan team haven't?
Yeah, we've played against them a lot recently, but of course in very different conditions. I think that's probably the main factor about, even though we've played each other quite a few games here at Melbourne, it's going to be a different game to the series obviously in Pakistan. So look, we know we're up against an excellent team. That's exactly what you expect in a World Cup final, and we'll focus on them a little bit and focus on us a lot and what we need to do to prepare well today to turn up tomorrow and give the best account of ourselves.
We'll go Paul, Dean, Simon and then Chris.
Josh, at the start of the tournament, you said this is a new era, obviously, under yourself and Matthew. A lot of the players are pretty experienced now, a few in the 30s. How much longer do you think you can proceed as a group? Is it a new era, or is it coming towards the end, as it were, for yourselves as a group, and there might not be that many more chances for world tournaments?
Yeah, I don't think there's any time there's loads of chances for world tournaments. They don't come around too often. As a group, a few of us are getting a little bit older, but I think in the professional age you can generally play a little bit longer than maybe if you look after yourself, and of course there's plenty to play for. So it's certainly a new era in terms of the coach, the captain. It's a different time as a group. Plenty of similar personnel, but playing across a different era. I think that's what I kind of meant, and I think that happens in terms of teams and team cycles, and you're never quite sure how long things are going to last for you as a player or as an era as such, but certainly you don't come down these roads very often, and whether you're a youngster or whether you're into your 30s, of course the chances are going to be fewer and fewer when you're a bit older, but that just gives you that added determination and drive to try and make it happen.
So it's still very much the beginning for this team.
Yeah, I see that as that point. Hopefully I've got more time ahead of myself, and as a captain, and with Matthew Mott, we can hopefully shape the next sort of, as I say, era of English white ball cricket. Of course, we're still reaping the rewards of Owen Morgan's tenureship and the changes that have happened in white ball game in England, and that's clear to see in the strength and depth of the talent we now have in the white ball game in England. So we're very much riding the back of that wave, of course, but there's a bit of a new direction as well.
Dean, go ahead.
Yeah, Josh, have you given yourself a chance to think of what it might be actually like to lift a World Cup as captain? It doesn't happen very often in all sports, and they can be pretty special things for a country as well as supporters of a team.
Yeah, you certainly have a few dreams about that kind of thing, and of course, I think it really links back to what you like as a kid. Really, it's the kind of things you would be doing in the garden with your brother and sister, and pretending to lift a trophy and that kind of thing. And now to be able to have the opportunity to have a chance to live that kind of thing out is incredibly special. So I think it's fine to sort of think about those things and sort of what it might feel like or what it would mean. And then certainly feelings I don't feel like you need to try and block out or push away. You must accept those kind of things, as like accepting the noise that comes with a World Cup final, accepting that it feels a little bit different. Again, the room is fuller than it has been for any other game, obviously. So don't need to try and push it away and say it's no different tomorrow. Of course it is, but once you've accepted those things, again, about focusing on the things that will serve us well as a group and as a team, as an individual, what you need to do to prepare to play your best game of cricket tomorrow.
And do you get at all kind of inspired or motivated? There's quite a few World Cups going on at the moment. I think the Women's Rugby Union are in a World Cup final in New Zealand. There's a Rugby League World Cup going on. There's a Football World Cup about to start in Qatar. Do you kind of think to yourself to think that maybe we could start something special and lead the way?
Yeah, I certainly hope so. Sport is such a huge part of English culture, and getting behind teams in World Cups is certainly something I know happens a lot in England. And even though we're on the other side of the world, we can certainly feel that support. The images is sort of the Euros, obviously. No, nothing will compete with football in our country, but the level of interest. Of course, the game's going to be on free-to-air television as well, which is fantastic. Will bring new eyes to the game as well. And we saw the benefit of that in 2019. Some of the images of people watching that game, and Trafalgar Square being packed out and stuff. I'm not sure they'll be getting up at 8 o'clock in the morning to get to Trafalgar Square, but I'm sure there'll be plenty back home wishing us well, and as we do to the other teams that you mentioned who are going got some big games ahead of themselves as well.
Simon, Chris, and I will take a few from the floor. We're up against the tight schedule here, so go ahead.
Hi, Josh. I've been watching through the tournament as you get in a pre-match huddle with the team and you tend to address them. And I was just wondering what kind of message you try to give across at that time, and if that role as kind of pre-match inspirational, whatever you're trying to do, if that role comes naturally to you.
Well, yeah, I think it comes pretty naturally. It's something I've never been shy of addressing a team that I'm playing in, whether I'm captain or not. So it's something that comes naturally, and the message changes. It depends on the feel around the group on that day, the situation ahead of us, or the situation that we've just gone through. So your messages change a little bit, but the consistent message is to always take the game on. I think that's something we pride ourselves on as a group. We must try and play with a level of freedom and allow ourselves to express the huge amounts of talent that we have as a group.
Obviously, it's your first year as captain, your first tournament as captain. Other than having to talk to us more often than you might like, are you enjoying the added kind of responsibility and stress that comes with that?
Yeah, I think I certainly enjoy some bits of it more than others. But yeah, definitely. I think, talking about teams and going through different eras, I think it's part of my own sort of journey as a player and as a person to now be at this stage of my career where I'm a captain, learning something very new that I hadn't done before, and that's exciting to get the chance to do that. It keeps things interesting. It keeps learning new experiences and going through that. I certainly feel like I'm improving day by day, really, getting the job and feeling more comfortable in the role as it goes on. I think it's maybe as frustrating as the summer was in terms of results. Actually learned a huge amount through that period, with the benefit of having a few months after to sort of reflect on on that, things I probably would have done differently, or what certain situations arose and how they made me feel and how I reacted to them. So yeah, I feel like I'm growing into the role day by day.
Chris? Hi, Joss. I just wondered if the experience of the 2019 final and the kind of the stresses on the field as much as off it as well can kind of help you tomorrow, especially if there's a bit of weather around and it's one of those days.
Yeah, I think any experiences that you can draw on, good or bad, you will have learned from those and reflect on those to be in situations of adversity or a bit of chaos. Those are all things that can happen, and in a World Cup final, there's a good chance of things like that happening. So the more experience you've got of being able to understand those feelings and how to react to them, I definitely see that as a benefit. And I think whether it's that World Cup final or whether it's different finals in franchise cricket or any of the experiences that we have as a group that we will draw on will be a benefit. Certainly, I think the weather is something we cannot control, and whatever does happen, we must be ready to go in whatever sort of sense that is. Obviously, we all fingers crossed it will just get a normal game of T20 cricket and that won't be affected. So, but don't want us to waste energy today and tomorrow morning thinking about the weather.
Apologies, we've only got time for two more. So the gentleman in the white cap, and then we'll finish with Mel, and then we're done. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Just post 2019, we have seen 2015. We have seen a renaissance in English white ball cricket. Now you have, of course, Brendan is with you in red ball setup. Now you have a different white ball setup. So how important is that having two setup for two forms of cricket? And do you see going forward more teams adapting to this trend of having two setups for white ball and red ball?
Yeah, I certainly see that as a possibility. I think the nature of the schedule of English cricket makes it near enough impossible for one man or woman to do the whole job. I think we play so much cricket and so much travelling and time away. I think that sort of become untenable really to have one coach. So yeah, it's certainly something I'm sure other teams may look at. It seems to be working well so far for English cricket, and hopefully that will obviously continue. I think even when sort of one person was in charge, you were sort of seeing them having to miss certain series or one of the assistants taking over for a little bit. So certainly in terms of the stability of the groups, I think is a real plus, that we know exactly who our coaching staff is, who our head coach is, and they have full ownership over that team.
Probably getting in trouble, but I'm trying to help out the Pakistan media as well. So first of all, how do you rate the Pakistan pace attack and the form that they have been in their run into this final? And also, we're back at the site. I know you don't want to dwell on the weather, but this is where that game was against Ireland and a similar forecast. Have you addressed the things that went wrong there in knowing that there could be a similar situation tomorrow?
Yeah, obviously Pakistan are a fantastic team. I think they have a very long history of producing excellent fast bowlers, and I see the team that we're up against as no different. I'm sure by the end of their careers, some of the guys we'll play against will go down as some of the best bowlers Pakistan have produced. So, and that's a huge part of why they get to a World Cup final. So, yeah, we expect a really tough challenge. As mentioned before, they're a team we've seen lots of in the recent past, and we've had some brilliant matches against them, played in a fantastic spirit, and I'm sure tomorrow will be no different. And obviously the Ireland match is a big disappointment for us as a team throughout this tournament, but certainly feels a long time ago now, being able to sit in this position on the eve of the World Cup final. I think we will have learned quite a few lessons throughout that game and actually the lead up into the game. I think the weather around Melbourne sort of was dominating the whole tournament at that stage and was sort of definitely a distraction at times, but certainly the game we got into against them, we know that the areas we were short, that definitely hurt us, and I think we've seen a reaction to that game in the rest of the cricket we've played so far.
Okay, we're done. Thank you. Cheers, Joss.